Iceland is home to some of the world's toughest terrain, some dodgy banks, and an ash cloud that grounded flights across Europe in April. It didn't ground this one. This US Air Force Dakota plane crashed here in 1956. It's just one of the most extraordinary spectacles you'll see throughout this country. We've come here to explore it in the new Jaguar XJ. It's a limousine to take on the Mercedes S-Class and the BMW 7 Series. I'm not on my own. Here with me is Chris Jones, editor of Golf World magazine. Chris, what have you come to Iceland for?
Two reasons really. So many of our readers go south for their holidays, whereas now there's 65 golf courses in Iceland, set amid some of the most spectacular scenery imaginable. And the other reason is you can play 24 hours a day here in the summer, so we're going to do both. Brilliant.
Well, let's get in the car and let's get going.
This is the V8 Portfolio version of the XJ. It's one down from the supercharged daddy of the range, which means a list price just short of 75 grand. This car runs a 5-litre naturally aspirated V8, which kicks out 385 horsepower.
We're heading out of Reykjavik now, and driving around on these urban streets, urban speeds, around 50 kilometres an hour is a really good test of whether the Jag has the kind of the limo-like ride quality that you expect from a big car that's going up against the Mercedes S-Class. It's a slightly nerdy thing to do, go cruising around town. Most people go cruising around town for other things, but we're cruising around looking for potholes. Now, when you find one, you'll hear this sort of light thump through the chassis, through the wheels, and it's not a lack of refinement, it's just that the suspension is set up to be super sporty and taut and give you a real benefit in sharp handling.
The XJ's secret weapon is its lightweight aluminium chassis. The V8 XJ weighs 242 kilos less than the equivalent Mercedes S-Class, and this lighter weight is really noticeable on the road. The XJ feels as agile as a smaller saloon. The steering is easygoing, and the nose responds keenly to inputs.
You walk across the moss, and it's so springy, it's so thick, it feels like a mattress. And then all around are lumps of lava, and it's so light. This is quite a chunky bit of rock, but it's so light and brittle. It's like a chocolate aero bar full of bubbles. And then in the background here you can see a geothermal spring, which Chris has yet to put his hand in. So
Give it a go.
over to you, mate.
Apparently, it's like a very warm bath. You could get in there with your trunks on. Thanks. And it's got that eggy smell of sulphur.
It is.
Oh. I don't think you can drink it, can you?
Unless you live in remote Iceland, you've probably seen an XJ for yourself by now. If the XF ushered Jaguar's retro image into a coffin, the XJ nails it shut and buries it Chilean minor deep. Suddenly, Jaguar has the most modern limousine in its class. I couldn't have imagined saying that 5 years ago. One Icelandic fellow strolling off this golf course mistook it for a Bentley.
This is Grafalot Golf Club, just outside Reykjavik. The #1 ranked course in Iceland, with 3,000 members, which is quite staggering by UK standards. The first tee is just up there, about 270 yards away. So I'm going to try and knock this on the green and start with a birdie. Go on. Yeah, good shot. Good shot. It's undergoing a massive explosion in popularity, golf at the moment in Iceland. Out of 300,000 people in the population, there's now 20,000 golfers and 65 golf clubs. And I think, you know, the Icelandic just like to get outside, and because they can play it 24 hours a day through the summer, golf is a great way to get out, like fishing, like the off-road driving they all do.
But if you think Iceland's golf courses are good, you need to check out the roads. They're the perfect playground for the XJ. So fundamentally, the XJ is a sporty car, but it's got a little something in reserve. And what you need to do is press the dynamic mode, and then all hell breaks loose. So what happens in dynamic mode is that the gearbox mapping has changed, and it holds on to gears much longer, so you can really accelerate up, and then hit the paddle, changes through into third. The gearbox isn't the only thing that changes. The continuously variable adaptive damping also changes, just giving you a little bit of a stiffer suspension setting, so a little bit less roll and a lot flatter cornering. So what did we learn from our 2-day Icelandic adventure? That this volcanically active island is packed with challenging golf courses and spectacular scenery. There are beautiful lakes sunk into the middle of mossy lava fields, laced with some of the best roads I've ever driven. There are majestic waterfalls like Gullfoss, where water tumbles down steep steps into a massive gorge. And of course, there are geysers, periodically firing from the depths, and the beautiful blue lagoon. Iceland is the most exciting landscape I've ever crossed, and Jaguar's new XJ was perfect for the task. Wonderfully agile for a long wheelbase limousine, quick and punchy, and with a sumptuous leather-lined cabin. At last, Jaguar's XJ has the progressive image to match its cutting-edge chassis and sharp dynamics. It's a genuine match for Germany's finest limousines. For the full story of the XJ and Midnight Golf, get the December issues of Golf World and Car Magazine.